Welcome to Block 929. Yeah, so today we are going to talk about the challenges that we are facing as Africans to trade with one another. So yeah, at the moment, we'll just be waiting for people to come in. I hope that we are going to have a big audience today because I managed to announce that I was going to be live at 7:30 Malawi time. I see there's two people already. Please holla so that I know who you are and also where you come from or where you are at the moment. Today we want to talk about, the challenges that we are facing as Africans to trade with one another. Say, for example, if I want to trade with somebody who is in South Africa, or I want to trade with somebody who is in Nigeria, it's very, very difficult. And then how can we overcome this? How can we solve this challenge? At the moment, we know that it's much easier for people from South Africa to be able to send their stuff, whether they want to go to Nigeria or whether they want to go to send these things to Kenya. It's much, much easier. But for us, like in Malawi, to send something to Nigeria or to Gambia, it's not easy. It's very, very difficult. So yeah, we'll be waiting for the people to see if there's going to be anybody that's going to come in and join us on this live so that we can have a chat. Yeah, so maybe there are some people who have got ideas and they can help us finding solutions to this challenge that we are facing. Because what we're seeing that there are so many Africans who are now going into manufacturing. Like we are not the only ones who are making machines at the moment. There are other people also who are going into manufacturing. And I don't know if they face the same challenges. So if you are also in manufacturing or you've got any other products that you are selling from Africa, please share. We want to know also what challenges you have. Or if you are in Africa and you're doing some production, manufacturing some goods and you're able to sell it to other countries, please share your experience so that we can also be able to learn from that. But at the moment, it's a big of a hassle for us in Africa to be able to trade with one another. We are actually manufacturing cement block machines, and these machines are mechanic. We also manufacture manual machines. The mechanic machines, we're using diesel engines, petrol engines, and also we're using electric motors. And currently, we're busy working on a machine that is a manual machine that can also produce 5 blocks at a time, but you don't need to use petrol or diesel or electricity. So you'll be able to to work with this machine live. Veno Carter says, hello there, I'm living in Brooklyn, New York. Thank you very much for joining us today, all the way from New York. I'm happy. Yeah, today I just wanted to have a chat and discuss about the challenges that we are facing, because we are having a lot of people from diaspora who want to do some projects in Africa, and then they're struggling to find machines that they can use for making the blocks when they're building. So a lot of them have been contacting me that they want to buy my machines so that they can use them, but most of them are in West Africa. And it has been very difficult for me to find a means of being able to send the machines to go all the way to West Africa. There's another lady, she wants to buy our machines in Sierra Leone. She's been waiting, and it's been very difficult and very frustrating. I was in talk with another shipping company, and they said that they're going to get back to me. They've been trying to find out, but they say they don't send stuff to West Africa. There hasn't been anybody who has asked them to send any stuff to West Africa. I'm like one of the few people that is asking for that. And for them to just send a machine alone to West Africa, it would be very expensive. So, and they said the other way was for us to use, like to send it by air. But now the machine is very big. To send it by air, it's also a little bit of challenge. So yeah. So today I just wanted to. Oh, Tivani Vunene is from South Africa. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. We got a friend from South Africa. Yeah. Today we're talking about why is it so difficult for us Africans to be able to trade with one another. And uh, my friend from South Africa, it's good that you're here, because I was just saying just a while to say that you guys, it's much easier for you to send anything from South Africa to maybe Nigeria or to Malawi or Tanzania. It's much, much easier. Your logistics there are very well organized, but now it's very difficult for me to be able to send something to Nigeria or Sierra Leone or to even to Kenya. It's not easy. Yeah, so I'm just having a discussion because there's a lot of people that have been asking that they want to buy our machines, and then they wanted me to send the machines to them. There's been a couple of people from Gambia, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and just recently there's a guy I was speaking with is from Burundi, wants our machine, and there's another guy, Tanzania. But these people, Burundi and Tanzania, it wouldn't be so difficult because all I need to do is just cross the border into Tanzania, then I'll be on the other side, Burundi. And also the people from Tanzania, I can just take the machine to the border and they can come and collect it from there. Zambia, the same with Mozambique. South Africa, we can also make some arrangements because in South Africa, there is always trucks traveling from Malawi to South Africa. So for people in South Africa, it's much, much easier. Glazalendo says, hello from Dallas, Texas. Oh, thank you very much. Now we got two people from America at the moment. How is it there in America at the moment? I would like to know how is it going that side. Here in Malawi, things are a bit tight. The economy is struggling. I think the corona has hit us very hard, and now we're getting the effects of it. But we'll get by. I know that we're going to survive. Snuggles66, where are you? Where are you at the moment? Are you in America or are you somewhere in Africa? Please let me know. Yeah. So, and I also wanted to share that we had a visitor last week. Mark meets Africa. It was a very, very nice to be with Mark. And I would like most of you, my subscribers, if you're coming this side, please don't forget to come to Malawi. And if you're in Malawi, please visit Block 929. It will be great to have you. Yes, Tim Van Unene said there's business opportunities for you to start effective logistics company in Malawi as an entrepreneur. I think so too. I'm at that moment now trying to contemplating doing this to say, so for instance, I can buy a van that I can use to carry with a trailer to be able to carry my machine for a start, and then maybe travel all the way to West Africa. It's only that there's a little bit of conflict in the middle of Africa, which can make it a bit difficult for me to drive all the way to West Africa. And I've been thinking about that to say, why not just carry the machines myself and then drive all the way to West Africa? That would be a great idea. If there are some people here who are interested to say, okay, how about starting a logistics company that we can transport these things ourselves so that we don't have to face these things, and maybe eventually it can grow into a big company. Yeah, thank you very much, Timbani, for that idea. Snuggle60 says, do you mind me asking, in your knowledge of your people, do you think they are gullible to other races of people but had on their own, and your estimation of what you have seen? Do you mind me asking, in your knowledge of your people, do you think they are gullible to other races of people but hard on their own, and your estimation of what you have seen? Oh yes, this is one of the problems that we are facing here in Africa, that we as Black people, we always get so hard on ourselves, but then we are so kind to other people of other races. I can give an example. You know, while I was living in South Africa, I started a business, and this business was we were transporting people from South Africa to Malawi, and I did this business with a white guy. And for us, when we used to travel from South Africa to Malawi, we would exchange. You know, we were like co-drivers. So he would drive for a few kilometers, and then after, when he gets tired, and I'll take over to drive. But we realized that whenever I was driving, we were always stopped at roadblocks, and we were given problems with the police on the road and roadblocks, and they would look at the vehicle, try to find, problems. The only place where I would drive, without any problems was in South Africa. So what we did was, well, we used to travel all the way from Cape Town to Malawi. So most of the times in South Africa, I was the one who was driving, because then we would not have problems. But when we crossed the border into Zimbabwe, Mozambique, getting to Malawi, this white guy was the one who was taking over to drive. When he's driving, we never had any problems. We get a roadblock, they just greet us and wave, and then they are smiling, and we pass. But if I am driving, they will stop us, and then they will look around the vehicle to find mistakes, and then they must charge us, so I must pay a bribe. So as you can see, that's how it is here in Africa. It's very, very difficult. Even when you working with the people, sometimes your employees are very hard on you. That it makes it very difficult. But if they work for people for a different race, then there's no problems. And sometimes when I'm discussing with my friends who are of a different race and tell them about the challenges that they face, they say, "But Ted, why do you face those challenges?" Because me, I don't face those challenges. So I don't know how we can solve this, but it's one of the challenges that we face in Africa. Yeah. Venel Carter says, things are tight here in America for the average person as well. Oh, so this thing is all over the world. It's very difficult. And now we have war happening in Ukraine, and this is going to get even much, much tougher and very, very difficult. And Glazalendo says, logistics affected by Corona supply chain challenges. Yes, but with us, like for us in Malawi, it's not the Corona that is making it very difficult for me to send my machines to West Africa. It's actually to find a company that is willing to do that for me. It's very difficult. And it's very frustrating, because there is plenty of opportunities that side, lots of business there, but I am struggling to do that. And that's why there are some arrangement that I might go to West Africa, establish a business, just to maybe be making the machines that right away there, so that I don't have to worry about the logistics. He says, wow, interesting. Yes, that's the challenges that we face. Sometimes our people, when they work for somebody like me, they take everything for granted. They're not serious. They don't look after equipment. I'm lucky that my team, at least the team that I have now, is very motivated. They're enjoying working with me. And I think it's because also sometimes I think we make a mistake. When we are employing the people, we think that the people, they're only going to be happy because you're paying them a lot of money. But I discovered that even in the past, even if I was paying a lot of money, the people still gave me problems. But I discovered that no, sometimes it's actually you need to be open with your people, and also you need to remunerate them. Like what I learned is that the salary doesn't actually make my employees happy, but actually the commission makes them happy. So we have a salary and commission setup, whereby they get a basic salary, because by law we have to pay them a basic salary, and then after that we also pay commission. So the commission varies every month. So the more they work harder, the more money they make. So this actually, what I've learned is that when the employees have got something to look forward to, they get motivated. So every time they're looking forward to make more money. So each month they want to beat the previous month. So it becomes like a vibe where the team, they have some kind of teamwork, they work together. So they're concentrating on trying to make more money by earning more commission. instead of focusing on me. And that's where maybe sometimes we make a mistake, because we think that if we pay our guys a lot of money, they're going to be happy. It doesn't work like that. And Snuggle 6668, he says, do you have collaborations with people from the Caribbean? And if so, do you people have any similarities that you have noticed? I don't have any, I have never really come across somebody from the Caribbean, but I've watched most of them on YouTube and with their channels, and there is some kind of similarities. When I watch them, I find that there is a little bit of similarities with the continental Africans. And I don't know why it is like that, but there is even their style of living. When I watch, like videos for Jamaica, and sometimes it just makes me feel like when I'm watching, it is Africa. So yes, there is some kind of similarities there. With the Caribbean, people from the Caribbeans. And even, I think, coming to Africa, diasporas, the people from the Caribbean, they wouldn't struggle much coming to Africa, because the Africa is going to be very familiar. There is the YouTuber from Gambia, African Picnic. I also watch them and see how they, like incorporating themselves with the community that side in Gambia, and how they are able to adapt with the life in Africa. They're finding it much, much easier, because I don't know, Jamaica is more, the setup is more like the African setup, while if we look at the diasporas from America, it's a more westernized setup, whereby, the way of life is very much Western. So when you come to Africa, you will have to somehow forget about the Western life and try to adapt to the African life, because it becomes very difficult for you to maintain your Western life in Africa, because it becomes like what we call the culture shock. So you will have to first learn how to understand, adapt to the African way of living, because in Africa we are very, we are slow, we are laid back. And it becomes very frustrating for people from the West, because the life in the West is very, very fast, and everybody is like minding their own business. In Africa, we don't mind our own business. There's a video I took Mark into the village. The village setup, you'll find that people are there's no fences between yards. It's just an open area. Everybody just lives, mixing with one another. While if you go in a Western setup, there's boundaries. Each person has got their own boundaries that they respect. So even the neighbor will respect the other person's boundary. But in Africa, we just mix with one another, just like that. All right. Do you, Glazalendo says, could you make a model that can be boxed and assembled by the customer? I've been asked that question before. The thing is that the machine that I'm making, I'm using the channel steel, and it's very, very thick and very strong. And I think, yes, we can try to do that in that way, to break it to pieces. And it's actually a good idea. I must look into seeing if I can make a machine that can be broken into pieces. Because if I can be able to do that, then that will mean that the machine can be sent by air, and it becomes much, much easier. And thank you very much for that idea. In fact, the machine that I'm making now at the moment, the manual one, can be very easy for me to make it in a form that it can be put together, like in two pieces. The only thing that's going to be heavy on there is going to be the mold. And I must thank you for pointing that one out, because then I never really sat down and think about that. Thank you very much. I will try to see if I can organize to come up with a machine that can be broken to pieces. And it might solve all the problems that we have, then we can just ship it by air. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Do you think the westernized lifestyle is good for people of African and Caribbean descent because of their genealogy? And what time of things can you engineer strictly for your genealogy. Oh, it's very difficult for me to understand. But what I've learned is that, the diasporas who have lived in the Caribbean and have lived in America, they still have some kind of an African mentality in them. And one would say, for example, if there's a person from America, and there's, let's say, two people. One is a white person and the other one is a black person. Once we start interacting, I will relate much easier with the African person, the black person, because there are some kind of characteristics that we, what can I say, that we are African, as black people, we are very family oriented. And even like when I look at the channels in America, or even some movies that the black people make, you see that the black people have got this kind of a family orientation. When I say family orientation, I'm talking about where you have extended families. And most of the white people that I've mixed with in the past, there's not that much family orientation, like to say that they have got extended families. Most of them, I see that they live by themselves. And if you look at the homelessness in America, you find that it's much more with the white people that are homeless than the black people, because black people normally have a family. So you can go to stay with your auntie, you can go to stay with your cousin, and there's that kind of similarity. And that is why eventually, when the diasporas come to Africa, they will struggle in the beginning, but as time goes by, they will start getting more comfortable and integrating with the community. I'm sure you are able to see it with Black Acres of the Gambia. They struggled in the beginning, but slowly we are seeing that they are settling and they mingling together and mixing. Even look at their children, how they have managed to cope up with Africa very much easier. One of their sons speaks language from Gambia very fluently. So it's much, much easier for them to integrate. Bim Badger says, Caribbean, even the way you move your hands while speaking, lay back, same way, suck the teeth, cut eyes. Oh, I'm from Barbados. Oh, all right. We are all the same. We are same people. That's why Africa should have been one country. It shouldn't have been split in two pieces. It should have been just one country. If it was like that, I'm telling you, Africa would have been very, very far. We would be very far today. Because I should be able to just travel, like from here, just go to Kenya and be able to do business and do whatever I want to do. And that would have been much easier. I think Africa, we are struggling because of the borders that were put between us. And these borders, these imaginary lines, they are making it very difficult for us to progress. Look at what is happening in Europe. They have the European Union. They discovered that they have to remove those borders, and then they let the people just travel around and work together. And that has been helping them a lot. United States is a lot of states put together, building up a country called United States. So here in Africa, we should have United States of Africa. They said, I know you are from... what are the ingredients that you use to make your blocks, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, this is good. Please, if I would love it if you could ask me a lot of questions concerning the cement blocks, because there is a lot of information that I can share with you. When we are making cement blocks, you can use cement, and you can use quarry dust, and you can use sand. Quarry dust is the dust that's coming from that, the gravel, the gravel stone that is used for making roads. Like for instance, in Malawi, before we introduced the blocks, we had some hills where there's rocks they break into pieces to make quarry stone. And this quarry stone is used for making roads and when construction, when they're mixing to make concrete. But before the blocks, we used to have a dust that comes out as residue, and then that dust was just piling. We had those days, I mean, in 2010, there was mountains and mountains at the quarry site of quarry dust. But we learned eventually that the quarry dust can be used for making cement blocks. So at the moment, what we do, in South Africa, they take cement mixed with quarry dust and mixed with sand. But in Malawi, what we're doing is we're just taking cement, we are mixing it with quarry dust. We don't advise people to mix with sand because the sand that we find most of the times in Malawi is not the good quality sand. Because for you to get good quality sand, you have to go to the river and get that sand. So you need to use the river sand. So the ingredients that we're using cement and quarry dust. The mixture that is recommended is 1 wheelbarrow. We mix with one bag of cement. We mix it with 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust. And this quarry dust has to have those fine particles, but also some granules. So you need to get at least maybe 10 millimeter granules mixed in there. So what we are now doing in Malawi, because most of the quarry dust is very full of dust, we are mixing the quarry dust with 10 millimeter pebble stones or 10 millimeter gravel. We mix it. So on that 1 to 5, you can have at least 2 wheelbarrows of the gravel and 3 wheelbarrows of the quarry dust. Thumbstick says, what qualifications must a Tanzanian man have in order to come to Malawi and work for you? For me, all my staff, they are not that much educated. I have found it very difficult to work with educated people. So I work with the guys, the most educated person in my team has got a high school education. But the rest, the lady that works with us has got junior certificate, which means that she finished up to Form 2. And then Hami, he finished school in primary school. He can't even write. He's not good at writing at all. I find it very difficult. It's very easy to work with these guys because when they come, their mind is got a lot of space to absorb new information. I think when I take students from technical college, there's so much that they've learned, there's so much that they know, and then when they come to work with me, it's very difficult for them to shift from what they know to grasp what I'm going to share with them. I don't do my manufacturing process the same way that the people are learning here in Malawi. The methods that I'm using at the technical college, they are just doing it in theory. They don't do it in practice. So when they come here and I start telling them to do the work, the process that I'm using in the workshop, they get confused and then it's very difficult for them to be able to accept it. So most of the times they will do it when I'm standing there, but when I leave, then they don't do it anymore. And they do it the way they've done at school. So it's very confusing. And what I'm doing, I'm trying as much as possible to manufacture. Most of the young people, when they go to study, let's say welding at a technical college, the skills they are teaching them are artisan skills. They are not manufacturing skills. So when they come here and we want to, because if I must be able to produce 100 wheelbarrows, I cannot use artisan skills to make 100 wheelbarrows. I have to use manufacturing skills. So I'm using the same method that they do when they're manufacturing vehicles in a plant, whereby you have to come, you're using templates and jigs to cut the parts of the machine or the parts of the wheelbarrow. We use templates and jigs. While artisans would be using squares and tape measures. And when you use a square and tape measure, you don't get accuracy. But when you use templates and jigs, you get accuracy. So you don't have to be educated to work with me. I'll come and teach you how to weld and how to do the job. So all my staff, they come here with no knowledge. I teach them from scratch. Yeah. Do you think the westernized style is good for people of African and Caribbean? Okay, I didn't finish to answer. The westernized style is good to a certain point. It's very, very good. And in terms of, say, with the Western style, they believe very much in accuracy. I used to work with a certain white guy. He was an engineer. And there's something very important that I learned from this guy. He told me that, Ted, whenever you do anything, you should always aim at doing it 100%. If you do it 99.9%, you have failed. And that's in the Western life, they want things to work in a systematic way and they have to be perfect. While when you come here, sometimes imperfection is okay. So if, like my guys, if they make a mistake and I'm very pissed off and I'm like talking about they are so confused, they say, why is he so upset of a small, simple problem like this that we've made, But if you go there in the West, on the wheelbarrow, a minor mistake on the welding, they can reject the whole wheelbarrow. But here in Africa, they say, no, it's okay, it's fine. So you find that even when we are making roads, our construction, when we make the roads here, sometimes you find that they're not perfect, but then we accept it. So the Western life, in a certain way, it is very good. And now the Western life, the African life, is combined with the Western life, can come up with a very good way of doing things. Because here we have Ubuntu, what we call Ubuntu, whereby we have to also consider the other person. Whatever we're doing, we have to look up to the other person. You don't want to just do things to benefit yourself. I'm not saying that in the West they do things to benefit yourself, but in Africa we even go much deeper than that. Like the way I'm working with my guys, it's almost like they have now become my family. Yeah. So, and you find that in the West they say you don't mix business with pleasure. Like, business is business, but here in Africa, we become a community and we become a family. My team members, they will come, and whenever they have problems, they'll come to me and I'll help them, and I'll try to give advice whenever they have a problem, or if I can help, I do help. So yeah, when there's a funeral, we allow them to go for a funeral, And while, in the West, they would say, okay, you can only go for a funeral if it's your immediate family member that has passed away. But with us, we allow, when the uncles pass away, grandfathers pass away, we allow them to go. Yeah. What is true, we need interstate roads, high cost of transportation between African countries. Yes. We need to just build one highway from Cape Town to Cairo, and then with some other roads branching when you go to Zambia and the other countries. If that can be like that, it will make life easier for us to trade with one another. Why do Africans in the Caribbean make it so hard to travel intercontinentally and hop from island to island? Why do Africans in the Caribbean make it so hard to travel intercontinentally and hop from island to island? What is wrong with you people? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, because I'm actually from Malawi. I'm not from the Caribbean, so I wouldn't be able to know and answer that question. It would be very difficult for me. Ojuini Ogeri Lacano says, greetings, Ted. Hi, greetings. Last time I think you were here, or you've been commenting on my videos. I see you most of the times. Thank you very much. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. Somebody says, what makes sand good quality and what makes sand bad quality? All right. Quarry dust and sand, which is better? Personally, I believe that quarry dust is actually better than sand. The reason why quarry dust is better than sand is because quarry dust has got bonding materials. That is why when they're making cement, they mix other chemicals with clinker and quarry dust. So they use quarry dust because it's got bonding material on it. And sand is also good. It has been used for many, many years for building construction. So sand is also perfect. But in terms of making a block, if you take a block made of sand and a block made of quarry dust, the block made of quarry dust is much heavier, much stable, and it's also got a lot of what can I say? Compaction or grips to one another. While the sand it is much lighter, and even in the stability is not that much perfect comparing with quarry dust. I believe personally that, like in South Africa, they are mixing quarry dust and sand because quarry dust and sand are mining products or mineral products, whereby if you want to buy quarry dust in South Africa, you have to buy it from somebody who's got mining rights so that they can mine the sand and then they sell it to you. In Malawi, you can just buy sand from anybody. They can just go to the river, pull out the sand, put it next to the road, and you come and buy it. So in South Africa, these products are very expensive. So quarry dust will be very, very expensive because they have to crush the stone, and then they have to mix with the sand to make it more affordable. Maybe there's other reasons why they do mix quarry dust and sand, but you'll find that most of the people, when they're making blocks, they're only using quarry dust. If for us to find some kind of a concrete gripping in the quarry dust, we're adding like maybe 10 millimeter gravel with the quarry dust. Okay. Let's say, found your, do you import? Okay. Could you explain what is used to make cement, and is the ingredients found on your continent, or do you people import cement? Okay, I don't know much about the cement, but I know that there is clinker that is put in the cement, then there's quarry dust that's put in there, and there's some bonding chemicals that they also add in there. But it is available. In Malawi, we are making cement, although we are not making cement at an advanced level. Because most of the times the cement maybe is not enough. It's not that much strong enough. Most of the cement that we're making is got 32 neutrons. We don't make much of the cement that is of 42 neutrons. So, but we do also get cement from Zambia, and we also get Dangote cement in Malawi sometimes. Yeah, but we do manufacture cement here in Malawi. And then he says, have you ever met up with the young lady who makes building blocks out of plastic, or do you even know who I am talking about? Yes, I know who you're talking about. I think it's a lady from Kenya. She takes plastic and makes blocks out of it. And I think it's a great idea. And when I've got time, I also want to explore and see how can I be able to recycle plastic and see if I can make some products be used for construction. Yeah, but because we have a lot of plastic waste in Malawi, which just goes to waste, there's not much companies that are doing recycling. So if you want to come to Malawi, recycling is one of the business that you will be able to do because there's not even any competition. Very few people that are doing recycling in Malawi. All right. Her Legoness says, peace and blessing. Their absolute purpose of the borders was to keep us from uniting. We are a force when you are united. Yes, and that's what is making me angry most of the times. Because I mean, why should it be so difficult for me to take my machine and take it to Nigeria, for instance? Now, because for me to take the machine to go to Nigeria, I have to pass a lot of countries, and I'll face a lot of problems. You know, we Africans, we face a lot of problems when we travel than when somebody from the West is traveling. I've traveled so many times, like I've told you now, I did business with a white guy. When we come to a border, we stand on the line, but he's the first person to finish his paperwork and the processes while I'm still being given problems at the border, being asked a lot of questions and all those kind of things. And you'll find that it's on each border that you go across, you get a lot of problems like that. But why do we do this to ourselves? I don't know why. But we somehow just make it difficult for one another. If we can start working together, regardless of which country we come from, I think we can do so much. There's so many things that we can do together. Yes. Okay. I must remind you, if you haven't subscribed, we are almost hitting 5,000.